In a faraway part of the Andromeda Galaxy, representatives from many alien civilizations gathered on a large space station called the Grand Assembly Station. This was no ordinary meeting. A strange and massive spacecraft had been detected moving quickly toward their territory. It was unlike anything they had ever seen before. Its shape was sharp and metallic, and it looked like it carried powerful weapons. At first, some thought it might belong to an unknown species, or perhaps even be a rogue machine. But after careful study, the truth became clear. This ship came from Earth. It belonged to humanity. The news spread like wildfire through the assembly hall. Leaders from different species exchanged worried looks. Kel Vorn, an elder of the Zorathians, a tall, insect-like race known for their wisdom, leaned forward in his seat. His long antennae twitched nervously as he studied the data on the screen in front of him. Next to him sat Lythera Solis, the ambassador for the Chiran, a water-dwelling species with shimmering blue skin. Her wide eyes reflected both fear and curiosity. Neither of them knew much about humans, except that they were newcomers to space exploration and had only recently joined interstellar politics. "This cannot be ignored," Kale said, his voice low but firm. "If these humans have built such a vessel, what else are they capable of?" Lyra nodded slowly. "We must tread carefully. They may not understand our ways yet. Perhaps they mean no harm." But not everyone shared her cautious optimism. Others in the room whispered among themselves, their voices tinged with anger and fear. Some argued that humanity's sudden appearance with such a powerful ship could only mean one thing. They were preparing for war. Admiral Jorvax, leader of the Draconian Empire, slammed his fist on the table. The Draconians were a proud and aggressive species, known for their love of conquest. His red scales glinted under the station's artificial light as he stood up, towering over the other delegates. "Enough talk," he growled. "These humans are a threat to us all. We should destroy them before they grow stronger." His words sent a chill through the room. Many of the leaders knew the Draconians well enough to take their threats seriously. Yet, others hesitated. Humanity was still largely a mystery. Were they truly dangerous, or were they simply trying to protect themselves? No one had answers, and the uncertainty made everyone uneasy. Meanwhile, aboard the mysterious ship itself, Captain Laura Bennett stood quietly on the bridge. She gazed out at the stars, her mind racing. Beside her, Lieutenant Connor Riley monitored the ship's systems, while Chief Engineer Olivia Park ran diagnostics. None of them knew how the aliens would react when they arrived. All they could do was prepare for any possibility. Back at the Grand Assembly Station, the debate grew louder. Some called for immediate action, while others urged patience. One thing was certain: humanity's arrival had changed everything. For centuries, the Galactic Concordance, a coalition of over 200 alien species, had maintained peace and order in the galaxy. But now, that balance felt fragile. Fear hung thick in the air, and no one knew what would happen next. As the discussions dragged on, Kale leaned closer to Lyra. "Do you think they know what they've done?" he asked softly. Lyra sighed. "Probably not. But whether they realize it or not, their actions will shape the future of the galaxy." Far away, on the bridge of the human ship, Captain Bennett gave a small smile. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready. Humanity had taken its first step into the wider universe, and there was no turning back now. In a secure room deep beneath the White House, President Daniel Hayes sat at the head of a long table. Around him were some of the most important people in the United States government and scientific community. General Rachel Monroe, a stern woman with sharp eyes, sat to his right. Across from her was Dr. Samuel Grant, a soft-spoken scientist whose mind had helped create one of humanity's greatest achievements. The air in the room was tense, filled with both excitement and worry. On the screen in front of them was an image of the Eclipse Asterisk, Earth's first warship. It was a massive vessel, larger than anything humanity had ever built before. Its sleek design and advanced weapons made it look like something out of a dream or a nightmare. For years, this project had been kept secret, hidden even from most world leaders. Only a handful of trusted individuals knew about it. Now, as reports came in about alien reactions to the ship's arrival in their territory, the weight of what they had created began to sink in. "This changes everything," President Hayes said, breaking the silence. His voice was calm but firm. "We can't sit back anymore while other species decide our fate. If we want a place among the stars, we have to take it." General Monroe nodded. "The aliens are scared. That's good. They should be. But fear can make people do dangerous things. We need to be ready for anything." Dr. Grant leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. He looked tired, the kind of exhaustion that came from years of hard work and sleepless nights. "This wasn't supposed to happen so soon," he admitted. "Project Titan was meant to give us time to prepare, to learn more about the galaxy before we stepped into it. Instead, we forced ourselves onto their doorstep." President Hayes frowned. "And whose fault is that? We didn't choose this situation. They did. They've been watching us for decades, testing us, ignoring us. Well, now they know we're not just some primitive species waiting to be pushed around." The argument hung in the air for a moment. Everyone in the room understood the risks of what they were doing. Humanity was stepping into a universe full of powerful and ancient civilizations. Some might welcome them, but others would see them as a threat. Still, there was no going back. The *Eclipse* represented hope, a way for humanity to defend itself and prove it belonged among the stars. Dr. Grant sighed and rubbed his temples. "I just hope we're ready for the consequences. This isn't like building a new weapon or launching a satellite. This is bigger. Once we're out there, there's no turning back." General Monroe gave him a hard look. "That's why we prepared. We've trained the crew, tested the systems, and planned for every scenario. Captain Bennett knows what she's doing. She'll make sure humanity comes out of this stronger." President Hayes stood up, signaling the end of the meeting. "Let's focus on the mission," he said. "Captain Bennett has her orders. Establish contact, show strength, and avoid conflict unless absolutely necessary. This isn't just about us. It's about future generations. We owe it to them to get this right." As the group left the room, Dr. Grant lingered behind, staring at the image of the *Eclipse* on the screen. He thought about all the late nights, the endless calculations, the sacrifices made to bring this project to life. Part of him felt proud, but another part couldn't shake the feeling of unease. What if they weren't ready? What if humanity's first step into the galaxy led to disaster? Hours later, aboard the *Eclipse*, Captain Laura Bennett stood silently on the bridge. She had read the reports from Earth and knew the stakes. Her crew moved efficiently around her, checking systems and preparing for their approach to alien space. Lieutenant Connor Riley approached her, holding a tablet with updated navigation data. "Everything's on track, Captain," he said. "We'll reach the edge of their territory within the hour." Laura nodded, her expression unreadable. "Good. Let's hope they're willing to listen." Riley hesitated for a moment. "Do you think they will?" Laura glanced at him, then turned her gaze back to the stars. "I don't know," she admitted, "but we'll find out soon enough." The hum of the ship's engines echoed through the corridors, carrying with it the hopes and fears of an entire planet. Humanity's journey into the unknown had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The *Eclipse* emerged from hyperspace with a flash of light, its massive frame gliding silently through the void near the edge of the Galactic Concordance's territory. The crew on the bridge held their breath as alien ships appeared on the scanners almost immediately. Dozens of small vessels surrounded them, their designs strange and unfamiliar. Some were sleek and dart-like, while others looked like floating clusters of crystals or glowing orbs. Captain Laura Bennett stood tall at the center of the bridge, her hands clasped behind her back. She scanned the view screen, her face calm but alert. "Status?" she asked, her voice steady. "All systems operational," Lieutenant Connor Riley replied from his station. "No hostile actions detected. Yet." Chief Engineer Olivia Park added, "Shields are up, weapons are armed, but we're holding position as ordered." Laura nodded. "Good. Let's not make any sudden moves. Open a communication channel." Riley worked quickly, sending out a message in multiple languages, some human, some alien. The transmission was simple. "We come in peace. We seek dialogue." It repeated over and over, filling the silence between the ships. But there was no response. Only silence greeted them, heavy and unsettling. Back on the Grand Assembly Station, panic spread among the alien leaders. Admiral Jorvax of the Draconian Empire clenched his fists as he watched the live feed showing the Eclipse *. Its sheer size dwarfed even the largest warships in the Concordance fleet. Weapons bristled along its hull, and energy pulses flickered faintly around its shields. To him, it looked less like an envoy and more like a weapon of destruction. "This is an insult," Jorvax roared, slamming his hand on the table. "They march into our space uninvited, flaunting their power. This is a declaration of war." Kel Vorn, the elder Zorathian, shook his head. His antennae twitched nervously as he spoke. "We don't know their intentions. They've sent a message, a peaceful one, by all accounts. Attacking without provocation would be reckless." Lyra Solis, the Kiran ambassador, agreed. "If we act aggressively now, we risk starting a conflict none of us may survive. Let's hear what they have to say." But not everyone shared her patience. Whispers filled the chamber as delegates debated what to do next. Fear rippled through the room like a wave. Many had heard stories about humanity, how fast they advanced technologically, how unpredictable they could be. Now, seeing their first warship up close, those fears felt justified. On the Eclipse *, tension grew thicker with each passing minute. Laura paced slowly across the bridge, her boots clicking softly against the metal floor. She glanced at Riley. "Any response?" "Nothing," he replied. "Just silence." Olivia chimed in. "Their ships are staying back, though. They haven't made any aggressive moves either." Laura frowned. Silence wasn't necessarily a bad sign. It meant they weren't firing, but it also left too much room for doubt. Were they scared? Curious? Planning something? Finally, after what felt like hours, a reply came. A voice crackled over the comm system, speaking in broken but understandable English. "Human ship. Identify yourselves." Laura stepped closer to the microphone. "This is Captain Laura Bennett of the Earth vessel Eclipse *. We mean no harm. We wish to speak with your leaders." There was another long pause before the voice responded. "You will follow our escort to the Grand Assembly Station. No tricks, or you will be destroyed." Laura exchanged a glance with Riley and Olivia. The tone was cold, almost threatening, but it was progress. "Understood," she said firmly. "We'll comply." As the alien ships moved into formation around the Eclipse *, Laura turned to her crew. "Stay sharp. Whatever happens next, we stick to the plan. Show strength, but keep the peace." The journey to the station took several hours, during which the crew prepared for every possible outcome. Engineers double-checked the ship's defenses, while communications officers practiced translation protocols. Laura spent the time reviewing files on the Galactic Concordance, trying to understand who, or what, they might face. When the Eclipse * finally docked at the Grand Assembly Station, the crew gathered in the airlock. Laura adjusted her uniform and took a deep breath. Stepping onto the platform, she was met with hundreds of alien eyes staring at her. Some species looked humanoid, while others were entirely alien. Creatures with too many limbs, glowing eyes, or translucent skin. For a moment, she felt small, but she reminded herself why she was here. "We are humanity," she began, her voice clear and strong. "We seek understanding, not conflict." Her words echoed through the chamber, met with a mix of awe, fear, and suspicion. The galaxy had seen humanity's arrival, and nothing would ever be the same again. Inside the Grand Assembly Station, chaos erupted as soon as Captain Laura Bennett finished her opening statement. The alien leaders, gathered in a vast chamber filled with hovering platforms and holographic displays, began to argue loudly among themselves. Some species were visibly shaken by humanity's sudden appearance, while others seemed outraged at the audacity of Earth's actions. Admiral Jorvax of the Draconian Empire was the loudest voice, his deep growls cutting through the noise like thunder. "This is unacceptable," he bellowed, pointing a clawed finger at Laura. "You enter our territory uninvited, bringing a weapon of war into a place of peace. This is an act of aggression." Calivorn, the elder Zorathian, raised his antennae in irritation but remained calm. His voice carried a quiet authority that contrasted sharply with Jorvax's fury. "Admiral, they have not fired a single shot. They came here to speak, not to fight. Let us hear them out before we declare enemies." Lyra Solis, the Kiran ambassador, floated gently above the platform, her shimmering blue form glowing faintly under the chamber lights. She spoke softly, yet her words carried weight. "We must remember that fear often leads to misunderstanding. If we react with hostility now, we risk creating the very conflict we seek to avoid." Despite their attempts to calm the situation, tension continued to rise. Smaller factions whispered among themselves, some siding with Jorvax, others leaning toward caution. The room felt like a powder keg ready to explode. Back on the Eclipse Asterisk, Lieutenant Connor Riley monitored communications from the station. He listened intently to the heated arguments and turned to Chief Engineer Olivia Park. "They're tearing each other apart over there," he said, shaking his head. "Do you think they'll ever agree on anything?" Olivia frowned as she adjusted a control panel. "It doesn't matter what they agree on. What matters is how we handle ourselves. One wrong move, and this whole thing could go sideways." Meanwhile, Laura stood firm on the platform, flanked by two members of her security team. Though surrounded by towering aliens and strange creatures, she refused to show fear. Her eyes scanned the crowd, taking note of every reaction. She noticed Calivorn watching her with a mixture of curiosity and concern, while Lyra Solis seemed almost sympathetic. Admiral Jorvax, however, glared at her with undisguised hatred. When the arguing finally died down, a representative from the Concordance Council stepped forward, a tall, bird-like creature with feathers that shimmered like gold. Its voice was melodic but firm. "Captain Bennett, your arrival has caused great unease among us. Explain why you have come here today." Laura took a step forward, her posture confident. "We are here to introduce ourselves, to let you know that humanity is no longer confined to one planet. We wish to join the galactic community as equals, not as subjects or threats. The Eclipse Asterisk is proof of our capability, yes, but also of our determination to protect ourselves if needed." The golden-feathered representative tilted its head, studying her carefully. "And what assurances can you give us that your intentions are peaceful? How do we know you will not turn your weapons against us?" Laura hesitated for only a moment before replying. "Because we understand that survival depends on cooperation, not conflict. Earth has faced many challenges, and we've learned that strength alone does not define greatness. It is wisdom, patience, and unity that truly matter." Her words seemed to resonate with some of the delegates, particularly Kale and Lyra, who exchanged thoughtful glances. But Admiral Jorvax wasn't convinced. He leaned forward, his red scales gleaming menacingly. "Words mean nothing without action. Your ship is already a threat. Why should we trust you?" Before Laura could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Lights flashed red, and panicked shouts filled the air. Riley's urgent voice crackled over Laura's earpiece. "Captain, we've detected unauthorized activity aboard the Eclipse Asterisk. Someone, or something, is trying to access critical systems." Laura's heart raced, but she kept her expression neutral. Turning to the assembly, she said firmly, "If there's treachery happening, rest assured it isn't coming from us. My crew is investigating now." As she spoke, Olivia and her engineering team worked frantically to trace the source of the intrusion. Deep within the ship's engine core, they discovered explosive devices planted near vital components. Whoever had done this knew exactly where to strike. Working quickly, Olivia managed to disarm the bombs just moments before they would have detonated. Back in the chamber, Laura reported the sabotage attempt to the stunned assembly. "This proves that someone here doesn't want peace. We came unarmed and willing to talk, yet we were attacked. Who among you stands to gain from this?" The question hung heavy in the air, casting suspicion across the room. For the first time, doubt crept into even Jorvax's fiery resolve. Humanity's arrival had sparked fear, but now it also ignited uncertainty about who could really be trusted. The revelation of the sabotage attempt sent shockwaves through the Grand Assembly Station. Alien leaders who had been quick to accuse humanity now shifted uncomfortably in their seats, exchanging wary glances. Admiral Jorvax, his red scales bristling with anger, clenched his fists but said nothing for a moment. The golden-feathered representative of the Concordance Council stepped forward again, its melodic voice cutting through the tense silence. "This is troubling," it said, addressing the chamber. "An act of aggression aboard this station cannot go unanswered. Captain Bennett, you claim your people are innocent of this. Do you have proof?" Laura nodded firmly, her expression unwavering. "We detected the intruder's activity ourselves and stopped it before any harm was done. My engineers disarmed explosives that were planted deep within our ship's systems. If we wanted war, why would we stop someone trying to destroy us?" Her words resonated with some of the delegates, particularly Cale Vorn and Lyra Solis, who exchanged meaningful looks. Cale stood up slowly, his antennae twitching as he addressed the assembly. "If Captain Bennett speaks the truth, and I see no reason to doubt her, then this was an inside job. Someone among us sought to provoke conflict." Lyra floated closer to the center of the chamber, her glowing form casting soft light across the platform. "This changes everything," she said softly. "Whoever did this aimed to pit us against humanity. We must find out who is responsible before more damage is done." Admiral Jorvax growled low in his throat, clearly frustrated but unable to deny the logic of their arguments. Still, suspicion lingered in his fiery gaze. "Even if this is true, how can we trust them? Their ship remains a threat. What stops them from turning those weapons on us whenever they wish?" Laura took a step forward, her voice steady and clear. "Because we're here to build bridges, not burn them. The *Eclipse* is a symbol of our strength, yes, but also of our resolve to protect ourselves while seeking peace. If we wanted conquest, we wouldn't have come unarmed or alone." Her words struck a chord with several delegates, especially smaller factions who had remained quiet until now. A frail-looking alien with translucent skin raised a trembling hand. Perhaps we should hear them out fully. They've shown restraint so far. Destroying their ship might only invite retaliation. Others began to murmur in agreement, though not everyone looked convinced. Admiral Jorvax remained defiant, his sharp teeth bared in a snarl. "Restraint means nothing when they hold such power. We cannot ignore the danger." Cale turned to him, his tone firm but calm. "And yet, attacking them blindly could bring disaster upon all of us. Let us proceed carefully. Humanity has given us no reason to strike first." With tensions still high, the assembly agreed to continue negotiations, but under strict conditions. The *Eclipse* would remain docked at the station, under constant surveillance by neutral parties. In return, humanity would be allowed to present its case further, explaining its intentions and goals. Laura accepted these terms without hesitation, knowing it was the best outcome she could hope for under the circumstances. Back aboard the *Eclipse*, Chief Engineer Olivia Park met with Lieutenant Connor Riley in the engine room. Both looked exhausted but relieved that the bombs had been neutralized in time. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. Olivia said, shaking her head. They targeted critical systems designed to disable the ship completely. Riley frowned, tapping a finger against his console. Do you think it was one of the aliens, or maybe someone working for them? It's hard to say, Olivia replied. But whoever it was, they wanted to make sure we couldn't leave peacefully. As news of the attempted sabotage spread among the crew, morale dipped slightly. Many felt uneasy about being surrounded by species they barely understood, some of whom clearly viewed them as enemies. But Laura addressed the crew over the ship's intercom, her voice filled with determination. We knew this mission wouldn't be easy, she said, but remember why we're here. Humanity has taken its first step into the galaxy, and we won't let fear or hostility push us back. Stay focused, stay strong, and trust each other. Together, we'll get through this. Her words inspired confidence, and slowly the mood aboard the Eclipse improved. Meanwhile, in the assembly chamber, discussions continued late into the night. Some delegates pushed for stricter measures against humanity, while others advocated for patience and diplomacy. Though progress was slow, the mere fact that talks were ongoing gave Laura hope. For the first time since arriving, humanity wasn't just seen as a threat, it was beginning to be seen as a puzzle worth solving. And in the vastness of space, where fear often ruled, even a small spark of understanding could light the way forward. The negotiations dragged on for days with little progress. Each session in the Grand Assembly Station felt like walking a tightrope. Captain Laura Bennett sat patiently at the central platform, flanked by Lieutenant Connor Riley and a small team of human representatives. The alien leaders, some curious, others hostile, fired questions at her, testing her patience and resolve. Admiral Jorvax remained a constant thorn in her side, his fiery temper boiling over whenever he sensed an opportunity to undermine humanity's position. Your ship is too powerful, Jorvax growled during one heated exchange. How can we trust you not to use it against us? You humans are unpredictable. Laura kept her composure, meeting his glare with calm determination. Power alone does not define intent, she replied. We built the Eclipse to protect ourselves, just as your species have done. Would you disarm your own fleets simply because others fear them? Her response drew murmurs from the assembly. Some delegates nodded approvingly, while others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Cal Vorn leaned forward, his antennae twitching thoughtfully. Captain, you speak of protection, but your arrival has caused fear among many here. How do you plan to ease that fear? Laura hesitated for only a moment before answering. By showing who we are, not through words, but through actions. Let us prove our intentions. Allow us to demonstrate what the Eclipse can do, not as a weapon, but as a tool of exploration and defense. The suggestion sparked debate among the alien leaders. Lyra Solis floated closer to the center of the chamber, her glowing form casting soft ripples of light. A demonstration might help, she said gently. It could show that humanity seeks cooperation, not conflict. Admiral Jorvax snorted, clearly unconvinced. Or it could be a trap. What stops them from using this demonstration to boast their strength and intimidate us further? Kale raised a hand to silence him. If controlled properly, a demonstration could provide clarity. We need to see what this ship is truly capable of, and what limits humanity will respect. After hours of discussion, the Assembly agreed to allow a limited display of the Eclipse's capabilities. Strict rules were set. No aggressive maneuvers, no targeting of alien ships or structures, and neutral observers would oversee the event. Laura accepted the terms without hesitation, knowing this was her chance to turn fear into understanding. Back aboard the Eclipse, the crew prepared for the demonstration with precision. Chief Engineer Olivia Park ran final checks on the ship's systems, ensuring everything functioned perfectly. This is our moment, she told Lieutenant Riley as they worked. If we mess this up, it's not just us, it's all of humanity. Riley nodded, his expression serious. We've got one shot to get it right. Let's make sure we don't disappoint." On the designated day, the Eclipse left the station and moved to a safe distance in open space. Dozens of alien vessels gathered nearby, watching closely. Laura stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the view screen. "Begin the sequence," she ordered. The demonstration began with a series of graceful maneuvers, showcasing the ship's speed and agility. It darted through space like a living creature, leaving trails of ionized particles in its wake. Next came the weapons display, not firing at targets, but simulating attacks on drifting asteroids. Plasma cannons erupted in bursts of energy, obliterating rocks with pinpoint accuracy. Finally, the ship activated its defensive systems, raising shimmering energy shields that deflected simulated projectiles fired by remote drones. The alien observers watched in stunned silence. Even Admiral Jorvax seemed momentarily speechless, his usual hostility replaced by grudging awe. Cal Vorn turned to Lyra Solis, his voice low. "They've shown restraint and capability. Perhaps there is more to humanity than we feared." But not everyone was reassured. Some species whispered among themselves, their fear morphing into suspicion. "They claim this is for peace," one delegate muttered, "but such power could easily be turned against us." As the demonstration ended, Laura addressed the assembly once more. "This is who we are," she said firmly. "Capable, yes, but also willing to listen and learn. We seek allies, not enemies." Her words hung in the air, carrying both hope and uncertainty. Humanity had taken another step forward, but the path ahead remained unclear. For every species that saw potential in Earth's newcomers, another saw only danger. And in the vastness of space, where fear often ruled, even the smallest misstep could tip the balance toward chaos. The demonstration of the Eclipse's capabilities left a deep impression on the alien leaders, but it did not ease all their fears. In fact, for some, it only reinforced their suspicions. Admiral Jorvax of the Draconian Empire stood in the Grand Assembly Station, his red scales gleaming under the artificial lights as he glared at Captain Laura Bennett. "You call this proof of peace?" He sneered. "What you've shown us is that your ship can destroy anything in its path. How does that make us safer?" Laura kept her expression calm, though her hands tightened slightly behind her back. She had expected resistance, but Jorvax's hostility was relentless. "Our goal was never to prove we are harmless," she replied evenly. "We wanted to show what we're capable of, and that we use that power responsibly. The Eclipse exists to protect, not to conquer." Cal Vorn, the elder Zorathian, raised a hand to interrupt before Jorvax could respond. His antennae twitched as he addressed the assembly. "Admiral, let's be honest. We cannot deny the skill and restraint demonstrated today. Humanity has shown us their strength, yes, but also their willingness to follow rules set by others. That takes discipline." Lyra Solis added her voice, floating closer to the center of the chamber. Her shimmering blue form seemed to glow brighter as she spoke. "Strength alone does not dictate intent. If humanity truly seeks peace, then we must judge them not by their weapons, but by their actions." But Jorvax wasn't convinced. He turned to the other delegates, his tone sharp and accusing. "Actions? What actions? They'd done nothing but barge into our territory with a warship. This is arrogance, plain and simple. If we let them stay, they'll only grow stronger. And then what? Will they bow to our laws, or will they impose their own?" His words struck a nerve among some of the smaller factions, who began whispering nervously among themselves. A delegate from a bird-like species fluttered anxiously, its feathers ruffling. "He's right. If we welcome them now, how do we stop them later?" Laura stepped forward, her voice firm but measured. "Humanity doesn't seek dominion over anyone. We came here to learn, to share, and to find a place where we belong. If you fear us because of our strength, then remember this: strength can be used to build as well as destroy. It's up to you to decide which path we take together." Her speech earned nods from Kale and Lyra, but skepticism still lingered in the room. Many species viewed humanity's sudden rise as unnatural, too fast, too unpredictable. To them, the *Eclipse* was less a symbol of hope and more a reminder of how quickly things could change. Back aboard the *Eclipse*, Lieutenant Connor Riley leaned against a console in the command center, rubbing his temples. "They're scared," he said to Chief Engineer Olivia Park. "No matter what we do, they see us as a threat." Olivia nodded, her face thoughtful. "Fear makes people act irrationally. But maybe that's why this matters so much. If we can earn their trust now, when tensions are high, it'll mean something later." Meanwhile, President Daniel Hayes monitored the situation from Earth. Reports streamed in constantly, updating him on every twist and turn of the negotiations. General Rachel Monroe stood beside him, arms crossed. "It's going better than I expected," she admitted. "But we're walking a fine line. One wrong move, and it could all fall apart." Hayes sighed, staring at the live feed of the assembly. "Laura's doing everything she can. Now it's up to them to decide whether they want to work with us or push us away." As the days passed, the debate grew more intense. Some species pushed for stricter limits on humanity's activities, while others argued for patience and diplomacy. Slowly, however, cracks began to form in the wall of suspicion. Delegates who had once dismissed humanity started asking questions, not out of hostility, but curiosity. What did Earth want? How far were they willing to go to earn their place? For Laura, these small signs of progress were enough to keep her going. Standing on the bridge of the *Eclipse*, she gazed out at the stars. "We've taken the first step," she murmured to herself. "Now we just have to keep moving forward." In the vastness of space, humanity's journey had only begun. And though the road ahead was uncertain, one thing was clear: fear would not define their future. Back on Earth, the news of humanity's first contact with alien civilizations spread like wildfire. Journalist Emily Dawson sat in her small office in New York City, surrounded by stacks of papers and glowing screens displaying live updates from space. She had spent days interviewing scientists, politicians, and ordinary citizens about their thoughts on the *Eclipse* mission. Opinions were divided. Some viewed it as a bold step toward humanity's future, while others saw it as reckless and dangerous. "It's inspiring," said Dr. Marcus Hale, a physicist who had worked on early versions of the technology used in the *Eclipse*. "For centuries, we've looked up at the stars and wondered if we're alone. Now we're out there, proving that we belong." But not everyone shared his optimism. A factory worker named Carl Jennings shook his head during an interview. "I don't trust those aliens," he said. "If they're scared of us now, what happens when they decide to fight back? We're poking a hornet's nest, and I'm not sure we're ready for the sting." Emily listened carefully to both sides, her pen moving quickly across her notebook. She knew the story of the *Eclipse* wasn't just about space exploration. It was about humanity itself. How would people react when faced with the unknown? Would fear drive them apart, or would curiosity bring them together? Meanwhile, President Daniel Hayes faced mounting pressure from all sides. In Washington, D.C., hawks demanded stronger action, urging him to assert Earth's dominance in the galaxy. "We've shown them what we can do," one senator argued. "Now we need to make sure they respect us." On the other hand, doves called for restraint, warning that aggression could lead to disaster. "We're still learning," said Senator Lisa Meyer during a heated debate. "One wrong move, and we could spark a war we aren't prepared to fight." Amidst the chaos, Dr. Samuel Grant confided in Laura Bennett via a secure video call. The scientist looked weary, his eyes shadowed by sleepless nights. "I never thought it would happen this fast," he admitted. "We've barely figured out how to live peacefully on one planet, and now we're stepping into a universe full of ancient civilizations. Are we ready for this?" Laura gave him a small, reassuring smile. "We have to be," she said. "There's no turning back now. All we can do is keep trying, to listen, to learn, and to show them that we're worth trusting." Her words echoed in Grant's mind long after the call ended. He stared at the image of the asterisk, Eclipse asterisk, displayed on his computer screen, its sleek form representing both hope and uncertainty. Humanity's leap into the stars was thrilling, but it also carried risks that no one could fully predict. As tensions simmered both on Earth and in the Grand Assembly Station, Admiral Jorvax secretly mobilized his fleet. Deep within Draconian space, ships armed to the teeth prepared for potential conflict. Though publicly he advocated caution, privately he believed humanity needed to be dealt with swiftly and decisively. "If they won't back down," he growled to his officers, "we'll force them to." Cal Vorn caught wind of the Draconians' movements through trusted sources. Concerned, he approached Lyra Solis in a quiet corner of the station. "Jorvax is planning something," he whispered. "We need to act before it's too late." Lyra nodded, her glowing form dimming slightly with worry. "Fear is driving him, and others like him. If we don't find common ground soon, this could spiral out of control." Back aboard the asterisk, Eclipse asterisk, Laura stood silently on the bridge, watching the stars outside the viewport. Despite the challenges ahead, she felt a quiet determination burning within her. Humanity had taken its first step into the galaxy, and though the path was uncertain, she knew they couldn't turn back. "We've started something big," Lieutenant Connor Riley said, breaking the silence. "Let's just hope it leads somewhere good." Laura glanced at him, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "It has to," she replied softly. "For all of us." After days of tense negotiations, a fragile agreement began to take shape. Lyra Solis, the Kiran ambassador, worked tirelessly behind the scenes, using her diplomatic skills to bridge the gap between humanity and the more skeptical members of the Galactic Concordance. Her efforts paid off when Cal Vorn stepped forward during one session, his antennae twitching as he addressed the assembly. "We cannot let fear dictate our actions," he said firmly. "Humanity has shown restraint and a willingness to cooperate. If we reject them now, we risk creating an enemy where none may exist." Admiral Jorvax growled in frustration but remained silent, knowing his aggressive stance had lost some support among the delegates. The golden-feathered representative of the Concordance Council nodded slowly, its melodic voice filling the chamber. "A compromise must be reached. Humanity will withdraw the asterisk Eclipse asterisk from our territory, and in return, we will recognize Earth's sovereignty and offer limited technological aid to ensure peaceful coexistence." The terms were far from perfect, but they represented progress. Laura Bennett listened carefully, her expression calm but thoughtful. She knew this was the best outcome she could hope for under the circumstances. Turning to her team, she whispered, "Let's take it. This gives us a foothold, a chance to build trust over time." With the agreement finalized, Laura addressed the assembly one final time. Standing tall on the platform, she looked out at the sea of alien faces, each one representing a species with its own history, fears, and hopes. "We came here seeking understanding," she began, her voice steady and clear. "We know we are newcomers, still learning our place in this vast universe. But we also know that fear should never guide our actions. Let us work together, not as strangers, but as explorers sharing the same stars." Her words resonated with many in the room, earning nods of approval from Kale and Lyra. Even Admiral Jorvax seemed slightly less hostile, though his sharp gaze lingered on her as if weighing her sincerity. For the first time since arriving, humanity wasn't just seen as a threat. It was beginning to be seen as a potential partner. Back aboard the asterisk Eclipse asterisk, the crew prepared to leave the Grand Assembly Station. Chief Engineer Olivia Park ran final checks on the ship's systems, ensuring everything was ready for departure. Lieutenant Connor Riley stood beside her, watching the station shrink in the view screen. "Do you think we did enough?" he asked quietly. Olivia smiled faintly. "It's not about doing enough. It's about starting somewhere. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning. As the Eclipse moved away from the station, Laura gathered her team on the bridge. "We've taken a big step today," she said. "Not everyone trusts us yet, and maybe they never will. But what matters is that we kept the door open for dialogue, for cooperation, and for peace." Her words lifted spirits aboard the ship, but back on Earth, reactions were mixed. President Daniel Hayes held a press conference to explain the agreement to the public. "This is a historic moment," he declared. "For the first time, humanity has earned recognition among the stars. It won't always be easy, but we're committed to building bridges, not barriers." While many celebrated the achievement, others remained wary. Protesters gathered outside government buildings, holding signs that read *No to alien deals* and *Protect Earth First. Journalist Emily Dawson captured both sides of the story, her reports highlighting the divide between hope and fear. Dr. Samuel Grant watched the news from his lab, feeling a mix of pride and unease. He picked up his phone and dialed Laura's number. When she answered, he said simply, "You've done something incredible. Now comes the hard part, making sure we don't mess it up." Laura chuckled softly. "One step at a time, Dr. Grant. One step at a time." As the Eclipse entered hyperspace, heading back toward Earth, the galaxy seemed quieter, but not empty. Whispers of humanity's arrival spread across distant star systems, sparking curiosity and concern alike. Somewhere in the vastness of space, a new chapter had begun. Whether it would lead to unity or conflict remained unwritten. But for now, hope burned brightly in the hearts of those who dared to dream. As the Eclipse returned to Earth, humanity reflected on what had been achieved and what still lay ahead. The journey into alien space had been filled with tension, fear, and moments of hope. Captain Laura Bennett stood on the bridge, watching as the blue-green orb of Earth grew larger in the view screen. Her mind replayed the events of the past weeks. The heated debates, the sabotage attempt, the fragile agreement. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. President Daniel Hayes greeted the crew personally when the ship landed at a secure military base. Reporters gathered outside, their cameras flashing as Laura stepped onto the platform. She looked calm but determined, her uniform crisp and clean. "We've taken our first step into the galaxy," she told the crowd. "This is just the beginning." The president nodded, his voice firm as he addressed the nation. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity. We've shown the universe that we are capable of strength, wisdom, and restraint. But more importantly, we've shown ourselves that we can face the unknown together." Back in Washington, D.C., plans were already underway to establish the Interstellar Relations Bureau, a new organization tasked with fostering communication and cooperation between Earth and alien civilizations. Laura Bennett was appointed its director, a role she accepted with quiet pride. "Our goal isn't just to talk to them," she said during her first meeting with the team. "It's to listen, to understand their fears, their hopes, and their dreams. Only then can we truly build trust." General Rachel Monroe supported the initiative but remained cautious. "Trust takes time," she reminded everyone. "And not all species will welcome us with open arms. We need to stay vigilant." Dr. Samuel Grant continued his work on advanced technology, now focusing on projects that could benefit both humanity and its potential allies. He often thought about the words Laura had spoken to him aboard the Eclipse "Own step at a time." Though challenges loomed ahead, he felt hopeful. Humanity had proven it could adapt, learn, and grow, even in the face of uncertainty. Across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's arrival spread among alien civilizations. Some viewed Earth with suspicion, while others saw an opportunity for collaboration. Cal Vorn, the elder Zorathian, spoke openly about his belief that humanity could bring fresh ideas to the galactic concordance. "They are young, yes, but also full of potential," he told fellow delegates, Let us guide them, not push them away. Lyra Solish shared his optimism. Floating through the waters of her home planet, she thought about Laura's speech and the determination in her eyes. Perhaps they will teach us as much as we teach them, she murmured to herself. Admiral Jorvax, however, remained unconvinced. Deep within Draconian space, he kept a close watch on Earth's activities, ready to act if humanity strayed too far. But even he couldn't deny the impact of the asterisk eclipse asterisk. Its presence had forced the galaxy to take notice and to reconsider old assumptions. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal, or as normal as it could be after such an event. Journalist Emily Dawson published a series of articles capturing humanity's mixed emotions. Some people embraced the idea of joining the galactic community, while others clung to fear and mistrust. Change is never easy, she wrote, but it's inevitable. And maybe, just maybe, this change will lead us somewhere better. As days turned into weeks, the asterisk eclipse asterisk became more than just a warship. It became a symbol of courage, resilience, and the unyielding desire to explore. Somewhere beyond the stars, other species watched and waited, wondering what humanity would do next. Laura Bennett gazed up at the night sky one evening, the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders, but her heart light with hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity had taken its place among the stars, and there was no turning back.